Hi, I'm Melissa Jackson, and I have been identified. I have been with First Baptist Church of Glen Arden for now a few years. I joined in 2015 and have been here serving and loving my church. And so back in June of 2015, I was sick of being tired of myself. I was at a point of frustration, and at the time I lived in a 4-story apartment and there were no elevators, and so came up the stairs, the first flight, and I had to stop because I thought that I was having a heart attack. I felt like stroke-like symptoms coming up my arm, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. And so after just standing in that moment and just praying my way up every single step, I finally made it to my apartment, and I sat on my couch and I'm like, God, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And at the time, I was almost 300 pounds. And so fast forward, right after the movie War Room came out, I saw that and it just completely changed my life. So after that, I went home and I was like, okay. Well, before I went home, I stopped at like the local CVS and got my War Room supplies, and I was ready. And so I got my War Room supplies and I got home and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my War Room. And then I was like, wait a minute, where do I start? And so I went into my living room and I sat down. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to create an environment for prayer. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna start with this first prayer. And I'm like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. But the first prayer that I said is like, God, I want more of you. And when I said that prayer and I wrote it down, God just started pouring out of me in my hand. I just kept writing, I just kept writing, I just kept writing. And next thing I know, it was like 6 pages later, and I stopped because my hand was starting to cramp. And like all these different things, like I've always prayed for people, but I never prayed for myself. I didn't feel worthy enough. I didn't feel like I was good enough. And so through that, I went on a fast, and I was like, God, I need you in this area of my life. Not only this area of eating, but I need it in all areas of my life. And so at the time, I downloaded the First Baptist Church of Glen Arden app and watched Pastor Jenkins' sermons, and the layers just began to peel off, and like God was just purging things of brokenness and abandonment and rejection and all types of things. And that's what I was covering up with food. My weight was the side effect of my brokenness. Through my process and transition, I've lost over 90 pounds without surgery, but just trusting God and fasting and praying. The fruits of my prayer, actually my mother came to me and she said, you've been fasting and praying for over a year now, and you see the power that your prayers have over your life, so I think you should do, intercessory prayer call. So I was like, I don't know if that's my ministry, but let me pray about it. And I asked God, and He said, do it. So as of June 1st, 2016, I actually started my first intercessory prayer call line. It's called Mel Jack Prays, and I have it every Wednesday at 6 a.m. to about 6:15 a.m., depending on how the Holy Spirit moves. I started a YouTube channel, and it's called Mel Jack Prays, and it's a combination of short interviews of me interviewing special guests and them giving their testimony of how prayer works and the power of prayer. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, as well as Periscope. My Instagram names are Mel Jack Prays, all one word. And my personal Instagram is MissyJ1088. That's MISSY, J as in Jaguar 1088. And on Twitter, I'm Mel Jack Prays, and on Periscope, I'm also Mel Jack Prays. And I have been identified.